All right, you guys get ready to get rolling?
Yeah, let's send it down range.
You're listening to the Modern Dad Experience.
Cheers in,
Cheers,
boys.
boys. Cliggity, cliggity.
Oh man, I pulled a Brett. I didn't slam down. I'm sorry. I feel like I really messed that up.
Yep, happens to the best of us.
All right, so hit me up. What's been brewing with spring break with the past 2 weeks? Weather's changing. It's lighter, longer. It's the best time of the year.
No question.
We've been
No.
begging. We've been begging for spring. We got it.
Yep. I don't know what you guys do for spring break. I kept it pretty simple. We were going to leave town and go to Florida, but we had some health conditions with my dad and his heart, so we bagged on those. Everything's good, everything's healthy, but we bailed on our plans and decided to kind of reroute our spring break. So we went to. When's the last time anybody went to the Six Flags Holodome?
Never.
Ever?
Six Flags
I've
what?
never been there. I've
You know,
never
the
been there.
big
I've seen it.
hotel and the big indoor pool. I think they call it the Holodome.
Probably. Now, I've
It's a,
been to a Holodome, but just not by the one by Six Flags.
Oh, so they blow up a massive tent over the water feature, or what?
no, there's a, you know that huge hotel that sits on the corner of Highway 44 and Six Flags?
Okay.
It's actually like kind of they got I want to say historic, but maybe partially historic hotel there with all kinds of cool stonework and stuff. But inside there's like cute little putt-putt arcade, some of that floor shuffleboard stuff, and then a massive pool and sauna, hot tub, and then just this big open area and a restaurant and stuff, and then all the rooms. So it's kind of like I don't know, they call it a holodome, bro. And
Whoa.
you got to go check it out. So we went there, like $150, and then once you add it all up at the end, I think we came out, got a movie and ate kids' foods included, which is kind of cool. I mean, for lack of a better term, it was kind of a sweet hoochie fest, but it was great, man. Um, we had a good time. So that was pretty simple and close. And the kids, when they get in a hotel room, it's like freak out for some reason. Then we went to Grafton. When's the last time anybody went to Grafton?
Couple years. Been a few
I
years.
th- I think it's been a year for me. Grafton rocks for
Dude, what
sure.
an amazing, cool town. Every time I go there, I forget. And the journey there is so cool. The river road. There's little communities like tucked in the rock cuts off the river road. But Grafton was neat. We did the Alpine coaster up at the winery. So I think there's one in Branson and one down in Dollywood or whatever. But it's basically a gravity coaster, and the kids can kind of ride it on their own if you're a certain height, and you just break it yourself. Now, if you don't break it, you just rip. You get up to 28 miles an hour, and then a safety thing kicks in and slows you down.
Oh, thank
But
goodness.
for a cheap thrill, um, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say cheap, but it's, I think we came out of that whole thing with food, and I didn't count driving over there, but I think again that's like another few $100 at the end of the day, right?
Did you
Which
make it
again
to?
isn't a lot for a thrill, but it adds up as usual.
Did you make
Yeah,
it to
man.
Pierre Marquette up there?
We drove up to Pure Marquette and checked it out, and then we didn't stay or anything. I went there as a kid. Like to go back there. Anybody else, Jimmy? You been to Pure Marquette?
I have. We stayed in the cabins out there. I remember going there when I was a kid too. It's really nice. I feel like it's in dire need of some updates.
It's
I
exactly the
don't.
same as when you were there as a kid.
Right, exactly. I mean, I don't think anything's changed. And, Southern Illinois probably isn't the first on the list for money from, stuff like that. So it may be
Yeah.
a while, but it's still such a great location. The Eagles are awesome. I mean, we've been up there a few times, I think, with the kids, stayed there once or twice. And, yeah, it's nice out there and it's close. I love it.
We used to take the ferry over, man. You can take two ferries over there, and that's a really fun
We
experience
take,
for
yeah,
kids.
we took the two ferries when we stayed in the cabin. It was
It's a
cool.
blast. That just
Yeah.
alone, the kids are like, "What do you mean we're going to get on? We're going to drive onto a boat and then get
Yep.
out?" And then
Yep.
there's a whole bike path over there with places to stop.
Yep.
But anyways, yeah, there's my spring break. And then we
Man, that's
some time in the country, little bonfire and whatnot. But next,
Yeah, man. I tell you what, I think that was a great spring break, Brett. And ours intertwined a little bit, but I feel like I had like the daddiest dad win spring break ever, man. It
Really
was good. Yeah, it was good. It was fantastic.
nice.
I think the official daddiest started off on Sunday, first Sunday of the break. I took my girls and one of their friends. I tried to get a bunch of third grade girls to go, but we went out to the Lindenwood Lady Lions Division One lacrosse game out in St. Charles at Lindenwood University. I know the head coach of the team. He played for me at CBC. Shout out to Jack Cribben. He's a great guy. He's a D1 coach right here in town, doing a great job. They won a D2 national championship. It's the top of the heap for a program, Division One. So he gave us the VIP treatment. My girls got to meet the team. They went into the locker room. They were on the field,
Wow, that sounds amazing, man.
giving high fives as they were coming out of the starting lineup. They won the game, which is always important too. I think it was a 14-8 win over Butler. But just a fantastic, completely free experience. I shouldn't say completely free. They did hit me at the concession stand for about 40-50 bucks, but just an experience that was amazing. And I hope to go back and maybe do it again with some more girls, trying to expose them to the game, really. But so that's how we started it. And then Monday through Wednesday, we went to Kristen's grandma's house, which is a lake house in Forstell. That's Forstell, New Melly. It's out there past Bush Wildlife, Lake Sherwood. And we went. It was a little bit of a, the daddiest of dad. It was a little bit of a workation. They have some water issues in the basement, so we took some bookshelves out, cut out some drywall and some moldy carpet, and really just did some work while we were there. So hopefully we're able to enjoy this place for years to come. But the kids had a great time. We did fishing, we hung out, and it was just an amazing 3 days. We did a fire out there, barbecued, just enjoyed the peacefulness. I mean, there's a bald eagle out there we saw flying around, just super super cool time. On the super cheap, and so that took us through Wednesday. Came home, built a wall in my basement. We're getting a sump pump put in, so I wanted to build a wall for where the storage area is going to be, so we can get everything. We don't have to move it twice, right? We just get everything, move it over there, so that when we're getting the drain towel dug and installed, that we don't have to move anything back on the walls. So that was good, and then went with Brett out to Cottage Farms last night, and hung out in the country for a while. They got a great spot out there, and kids survived it. They had all sorts of new experiences, and we didn't have to go far away.
Yeah.
So daddiest to dad wins. I loved it. It was a good spring break.
We just
Nice.
stood by the river there and cooked for a while. That was fun.
Yes.
Kids hike. I feel like when you just get them out there in the woods to find their way, and it becomes pretty simple and peaceful, and they don't need anything.
They revert.
Right.
They revert to their instincts.
Yeah.
They just like become feral children, which you kind of want.
Yeah,
We
man.
just got back from spring break. So ours lines up where like I have this huge work deadline, my birthday, and then coming out of that deadline, I just want to get out of town. And so we went to Utah, and we got in two national parks, Arches and
Wow.
Canyonlands. My brother-in-law flew down with his girlfriend and we met them. My mother-in-law came along, so it's like a big family trip at the same time. So it was a good mixture of high adventure, exploring the parks, and low adventure of just chilling and barbecuing. And it was a great mental getaway from an intense work situation. So it was all good. It was great. So already planning next spring break.
Where to, you think? Back out that way to find more national parks? Or
Yeah, so Utah is a surprising state. We were in the southwest corner, and I think next time we'll go south mid of the state. because it's warm enough, it's sunny enough, and you definitely don't want. I don't want to go there in the middle of summer, so I think it's a good spring break location for our family.
Nice. What does that cost look like? Do you budget all that out? I mean, I'm sure you have a rough idea. Not that you got to tell me exactly what you spent. I'm just curious, like, in the thought of just how
Yeah,
what it costs to do these kind of things. I
the
do fly
most
or drive.
Yeah, the most expensive thing is the flying, which I always like scoping out credit card deals and like signing up for the miles and things like that to reduce the cost as much as I can. And then we split the house amongst the various parties going, split the food up. So you can get economical with it. Although I wouldn't call this trip economical at all.
Take
Uh,
everybody out to dinner a couple times. Woo.
yeah, yeah.
Are you a road trip family? I mean, we are and we aren't, right? Like, we've done it, but we don't do it on the reg.
I
Um,
think that's a classic Midwestern thing. It's like, how far away is it? 12 hours? Let's drive it.
let's go.
Like I am the most road trip. My wife is the least road trip, and the kids are somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
So
yeah, ditto.
yeah, so in under 8, we'll drive it, and over 8 is probably when we start looking at flights.
Okay, we did one to Florida one time and stopped halfway, like Eagle Pass, Tennessee, and randomly found a cool little spot to stay. But thought that spot, you're at a hotel, and that's I love road tripping. I did it a bunch of the kids, so like, you know. Anyways, Jimmy,
I grew up a road tripper, man. I mean,
yeah,
we went
man.
to New York. We went to, I mean, all corners of the earth when we were kids. I think I flew one time, and I don't even remember where it was, but one time before, college or whatever. Yeah, we drove everywhere. We do a little bit of both with our family. I mean, we drove to South Dakota. We've driven to Florida, but we've also flown to Florida. So we're somewhere in between. We got the minivan with the screens in the back, and
Yeah.
so kids watch movies. I mean, it makes it much easier. But
When you
I think the older we get, the more likely we'll be, flying for those over 8 hour trips. Like you said, I think that's a pretty decent cutoff.
when you were a kid, did you roll minivan or did you guys roll car?
Dude, when I was a kid, we rolled the conversion van.
Oh,
So
that's
my
the
we
top
it
shelf.
was yeah, I mean it was like flying, man. We had the queen size bed in the back. It was all plush
You hit the button.
interior. Yep, and it went
Oh,
down the
bro, get out
button.
of
We
here.
we had the TV VCR, right? Back then it was a VCR, so we had the TV
Oh, you're
VCR
making
down there. The airplane lights, you could make it completely dark in there and have the
yeah,
running lights. It was, and we also had a CB radio,
yeah.
so we talked to the truckers. It was
Was it the
it,
Explorer?
it was the Vandura is what I called
Dude,
it.
yeah. My
Vandura.
grandparents had a pretty sweet one, but when we
It,
road tripped as kids, it was in a regular minivan, classic Dodge
right,
Caravan, right? And there was
right.
no screen or no nothing. So I would get in the back, me, my bro, and my dad, and we would just like, let's go. And we would just crash and drive and crash and drive. And I had my cooler set up, and I'd be vending like the chapstick and the wallet with the money and be like, what do you need? Talk to me. And we pour you a soda. It was good shit. Good
I
stuff.
feel like my girls get that same, with our minivan. I think they get that same vibe that I had in the Vandura. So I'll never forget that thing,
The
man.
Vandura.
The Vandura. The funny side story about the Vandura. When I was leaving Ole Miss,
Did
so
you
my
take it
last
up
my,
there?
my last year at Ole Miss, I brought it up like mid-year
Oh,
because I was
Jesus,
gonna bring. And I mean, we would get kegs in that thing. I mean, I'd wake up in Sardis Lake, like 4 o'clock in the morning in the back of that thing. I mean, it was insane. It was a mobile party unit. I mean,
Dude,
for like 3 or 4 months, and that.
that's so cool that you can take that from your childhood and then the grandparents kept it in the garage or whatever, and you were like, started up one day, let's go. That's a
Let's
soup.
go. Man, I would get one for the nostalgia. I don't know, I'd get one for the nostalgia.
We need the editing team to throw up a picture of a Vandura right now,
Yep,
Jimmy.
Vandura, boom, and it's
Yeah,
gonna
that
be
editing
like
team.
blue and
Get
white
Ryan
stripes.
and
I'll
Chad.
I'll find the
Get on
picture.
that, please.
In post-production, in post.
We didn't have a Vandura, but we had a Chevy Suburban, and it had similar
Oh,
features.
man, you guys are rolling deep, both you guys.
It had a similar feature in the back. Yeah, my grandparents were snowbirds, and they take a travel trailer down to Florida, and I missed 6 weeks of kindergarten because they took me down there and let me hang out with them, and it was a great time. Just having a full run of the space, and we had so many memories in that Suburban that when they sold it, my sister was like bawling her eyes out. She's like, "No!"
Yeah.
It's a great time.
Dude, I remember all my parents' cars, man.
Isn't that funny?
And my grandparents' cars. I mean, just
Isn't that
vividly.
wild?
It's super wild.
Yeah, we had a
Super
lot of,
wild.
yeah. That's interesting. I never really thought about that, how you kind of remember them vividly.
Well, you kind of build the relationship with an automobile, especially one that you drive.
My dad got a Pontiac 6000 in like the late 80s for work, so he had a company car every few years. And the Pontiac 6000, we need to throw this up on the graphics too, all digital dashboard and car, like the first of its kind. So it was like, what was the car? KITT that would talk to you. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
comparable with KITT, but it was like, whoa.
My parents' first car that talked to him was a Nissan Maxima. It would say doors
What a nice
ajar.
car.
It would say doors ajar, and I'd say, no, it's not. It's the door. Like every time the door open. As a kid, no, it's not. It's a door.
That's good. That's never heard. That's some Mitch Hedberg shit right there.
Yeah.
That's funny. So Pontiac was onto something because did they make the Cougar as well? That was a really cool car.
Yeah. Was that the 4-wheel drive? No, that was the E.
It was like this perfect captain's chair where you had like all the dash, like seamless. It was like meant for, I don't know. Someone had it in high school and it really made an impression on me. And I was like, man, this is a cool car.
Interesting. Very interesting. Trying to think what else we had. We had a Caprice Classic. Big, massive machine. Huge car. Like a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, minivans. Anywho.
What about car trauma? I remember this burgundy Oldsmobile overheating in a McDonald's parking lot or drive-through. You got any stories like that?
I don't. I'm trying to rack the brain. I got some.
No, a couple changing the tires on the highway.
Yeah.
All of those. Plus, my dad had both my parents had Volkswagen Bugs at one time. My dad had like a yellow blacktop convertible. It was awesome. But I mean, we rode on the top of the back seat, and I mean the floorboards in the back seat. You could see the ground. I mean, it was all rusted out, so it was like Flintstone style, super dangerous.
Gosh.
But yeah, I remember, some of that was, we were young when that was happening too.
You mentioned changing a tire. We were on our way down to Gulf Shores on a Midwest road trip because it was 12 hours, so we're going to drive it, obviously.
Yeah.
We got a flat tire in the Lincoln Town car and pulling out all the stuff out of the trunk. I mean, the trunk was massive. It probably would hold 3 bodies if you wanted to. Got the spare out, changed it on the side of the highway in like 95-degree weather, maybe hotter. Anyway, we roll into a little town and like, let's get some food. And that was the first time I had Yingling before Yingling was distributed more widely.
Yeah.
It was the most delicious thing I'd ever had in my entire life.
Nice. That's a good memory.
Yeah.
I think the first time I drank a Yingling, I was like, wow, this is fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
it was. I remember that experience. I think I was in Florida. Maybe.
Yeah.
What was your first beer? Mine was Busch. So to this day, occasionally, like 1 out of every 5 or 8, 10 Busch, first sip, I'll be like, nice. Nice. I saw a mango cart too. You must be doing work.
No, so shout out to Eddie Ricard. He gave me a couple of these, doing some work for him. Fellow dad in the Dad's Club. He's his youngest, I think, will be phasing out next year. So this will be his last year with the Dad's Club without being an alumni. But shout out to him. He gave me a few of those mango carts, which it's the first time I've had them. Decent, but I always like to keep one of these around just in case. Like, you brought it up, and Blue Team that was the beginning, and
Um,
my old man loved them.
yeah, buddy. On, I was going to ask about road trips was, so I know we have screens and then we have phones, right? But obviously, that even the kids get bored of that stuff after a while or get a headache or whatever. But what else do you do? Like, games are always fun on road trips, right? So we always try and get creative and come up with stuff as we drive or ask questions. Don't have a ton of great, you know, suggestions, but what do you guys, as kids, what would you do? We used to do stuff with music,
Music,
or
we listen to a lot of music for
yeah,
sure.
like what's that instrument or what's that band name, and then we'd like look at cars, and before we get to the car, like by the taillights, what kind of car is that, or what? Yeah, I spy,
License plate game.
I
Like
spy,
try to
yeah.
get all the states.
I remember
License plate.
reading like 400 Farside, the anthology editions, those and Calvin and Hobbes, like all those cartoon strips put together is what I read. And then it could probably cost me $85, but I had a CD Walkman, I think, and it had only one CD, which was Queen's Greatest Hits.
That's a
Wow,
good one.
Just played on loop. I was
that's
like,
Another one
phenomenal.
bites the dust.
yeah.
Wow, a lot of good tracks in there, man.
There
Yeah.
is. There is. We used
Um,
to listen to like Jesus Christ Superstar, Hair. We listened to a lot of like musical stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
we just
My
had
family
class,
was wild, but you
we had
know,
classic rock training basically across the country.
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, so we do license plate games. We do like bingo of like, spot this or spot that kind of thing. Um, that's the main ones that we do with our kids now.
Yeah.
One of the strategies that we try to employ with our kids is when we're doing a big road trip, we like to try to maximize sleep time. We'll get them set up in there and
You drive at night?
maybe leave at bedtime and get them down, and I'll drive through the night a lot of times. Maybe I'll sleep all day and I'll drive through the night just to try to get maybe 8 hours with them out. Try to maximize that downtime and try to put as many miles behind us as we can so that we can tolerate the road trip.
Yeah, and if you're talking like a summer trip, that's lower heat and less traffic. So yeah, we haven't really done a full-fledged overnight drive, but we've definitely tried aspects of that later in the day. Break up the days.
I think road trips are great, man. I think it's like I don't want to call it a rite of passage, but when you start comparing it to the time you spend in a airport, getting to the airport, preparing for the airport, not that you don't prepare for a road trip, but like you were saying, you get those bathroom breaks lined out and the food lined out and you get the sleep lined out, you can kind of get it right and go. It's not always easy. It depends on,
Well, it's like a great American classic, right? I mean,
oh
we
man.
have the interstate system that divides up the country. I mean, you just jump on 70, that'll take you to Moab, Utah, where I was, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's like getting down to NOLA, 9 hours straight shot. I mean, you can get it really is amazing. Um, let's make road trips great again.
All right, I got a burning question for you. What would be the title of your memoir and why?
Fubar. Just kidding.
That's on brand. Are you
I'm
sure
gonna
it's not
say
Memoirs of a Geisha?
no. What is it? Say again.
That was a joke.
Okay, sorry. Went right over.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you, but I heard guys say it. Teach their own. I really don't know.
Man, I'm all right. I would think two things: the path, maybe, but I don't think that one. I think it would be it takes what it takes.
I like that. There's
It
some
takes
grit
what
in
it takes.
that.
And it's kind of a mantra because and I say to my wife all the time and my kids, there's no right or wrong path. It's just the path, and you're on it. So get moving and get it done. But a step further, man, it takes what it takes. you don't know until you get in and start doing action and making things happen. And you don't know what it takes until you've completed your task, right? So worrying about it on the front end, worrying about any of the what am I going to have to do? It doesn't service you in any way,
Yeah,
So
in the
I
end,
feel
it doesn't
like
matter.
one of the things, maybe it's recently that I started, but I want to spend all my energy on things that are going to make me better. They're going to make my family better, right? I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't do that, but my mindset now is all the energy it goes into things that are going to make us all better, right?
I
So
like it.
it takes what it takes.
So,
I don't know what it takes, but when I'm done with it, then I'll let you know. That's fine. I'll tell you it took this, but now I'm on to the next thing. So I can't spend any energy on that. Read the book. Read the book.
I like it. A guy gave me a office keychain a while, like years and years ago. It says whatever it takes, which is pretty in the same notion of that, right? And I still carry it in my car with me just because it's always good to have that thought process. And you run into something like it doesn't matter if it's a problem; it's whatever it takes to get it done. Let's go again and again.
I like
But
that. It takes what it takes. That's awesome.
no, I said whatever it takes.
No, I know. I know. I was referring to Jimmy's, not
Fine.
yours.
Well, mine's actually on a real medallion, so whatever.
Okay. It's been printed, so thus it is more
Yeah,
official.
no big deal.
Fair.
I'm gonna wear it around my neck next time.
You should.
So that's what you're going. That's what you're going with. Whatever it takes, Brett. That's the title of yours.
It's very very original, Brett.
Yeah, I'm
Super
taking that
original.
off Jimmy's. I'm just gonna change the word.
Super
No.
original. I appreciate
No, I'll
that.
go with teach their own. I guess go deeper on that, but I would just do. I guess a big portion of me is like people are all different, embrace them who they are. You can't understand what makes most people tick unless you talk to them and understand that perspective. Which, anyways, stop there, I guess.
Nice.
Levi.
Mine's gonna be something about. Let me go into a semi-long story for a moment. So when I would snowbird with my grandparents in Florida, you would drive this parking lot, and then you would ride a trailer to the beach, like 2 or 3 miles, maybe. It felt like forever down this sandy path road to get you to the beach. And it was walking along that beach you see the waves like crash against the shore, and they take some things with them, and then they bring some things back, like this constant thing. And so like people in our lives are these waves that like they crash into us, they impact us, something like that. So I would say of the people, places, things, or ideas, like they're symbolically waves. So I don't really have a great title, but it would have something to do with waves in it because of
Interesting.
how we're changed by interacting with people or interacting with those things in our lives.
That's good.
That was very deep. Very
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah, I'm the plain yogurt guy, so I gotta take it deep and boring for you guys.
No, I
Nice.
like it. I'm
That'd
thinking,
be-
so like the title would be like hydrodynamics, like I'm
Ocean
trying to think
breathing.
I'm just trying to think of your title for it.
Yeah, I know. Probably
Fluid dynamics.
fluid dynamics. I don't know. That's why I said I don't have a title yet. I just have a theme. I'll build
That's
upon
good.
it. I'll build upon it. Let you know.
I do like the
That's
way I do like the waves concept, and people do come and go not only by like lifespan, but just in their rhythm of what they have going, whether they move or not or have time, right? Like I don't see a lot of people anymore because of what I'm doing now with kids and so forth.
You want me to take the waves analogy a level deeper for you?
Sure, of course, that'd be great.
All right. So there are big waves and there are small waves, right? And so each one has a bigger or smaller impact on you and how you're changed or impacted by coming across that person. There might be somebody who you just cross paths with for a couple months, or it might be somebody you cross paths with for a few years, and it changes how much impact it has on you.
Is the tsunami when someone dies, or is it?
Yeah, tsunami.
Just in the sense of waves or liquid force.
How much time do you guys dedicate to thinking about things like that? So, if in the span of our lives, there's probably only 20 really earth-shattering moments, marriage, deaths, births, things like that. But but we live as if one of those is around the corner all the time, you know, in terms of our connectedness to the phone, our checking in type of thing. But in reality, there's a huge amount of space in between those events. You guys ever
Mm.
think about that?
No, not often enough. And that can relieve some tension, that thought process about how much time is in between. So enjoy that time and stop thinking it's so jammed together and another bad thing's coming. You know,
Right.
not that you sit around and think that, or people do, but it's at least to put energy into not thinking that way, or conditioning your mind to realize how great we have it while you have it. You know, without, you know, I don't know if I'm saying that right at all, but
Yeah.
that's heavy. What? So is this something you're reading, or is this just a thought you had about how many focal points there are in your life, and then how far those are apart, or
Yeah, I think
what?
my trouble is I spent 40 years trying to progress and trying to achieve and be ambitious, and I'm trying to slow down because
Hmm.
it's just not a great way to live your life if you're always like trying to hurry or rush it.
Well, how old are
Um,
you right now?
39.
So you didn't spend 40 years. You spent 25 years.
Well, yeah, but I was born aged like 23, so I'm older
True.
and I'm an old soul.
You claim it. I was born
Man, but
23. Don't question it. You're not a leap year
honestly,
baby, bro.
honestly,
Maybe you
39,
are. Go ahead, Jimmy.
39 years, man. You got so much time. I mean, you could fail till you're, mid 40s, 50, and you still got time, you know. But
And
it's a,
when
it's a great place to be.
when you realize doing nothing, I don't. Okay, how do I? Sometimes I feel seriously guilty if I don't do something in a day, and that's kind of unhealthy, right? Like, and I don't mean like go paint something or accomplish a task, or fix something. I should probably try more of that. Going back to that OG conversation of home repairs, but I mean like in the sense of, I mean, you can't cram too much in, right? Otherwise, you overwhelm yourself, and I feel like that's all we try to do constantly. But maybe that's just me.
I think it's just you, Brett.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, you got any dad win losses or draws?
Wins, losses, or draws.
So my win is the kids have been good at travel for a while, but they've not been good at like exploring the things like doing the hikes and stuff like that. And they're really getting acclimated to like, hey, there's going to be a day where we do some scrambling, some hiking, things like that. There's also going to be some days when we have downtime or just play games at the Airbnb or whatever. So I'd say the win was that. The loss was, like we're traveling with a big family, seven of us, and wasn't always like the most patient with everybody because of the different family dynamics. So that's on me. That's something I'll work on next time we take a big family trip. But that's my wins and losses.
My win, I just thought of was that. So my 9-year-old's having meltdowns in a way, right, over small things sometimes. But I shouldn't say they're small because they're obviously due to her, big feelings and so forth. So I think I'm doing a better job of trying to talk. I'm doing a better job of not getting frustrated with that happening, which helps her calm down and get through it faster. So the win for me would be like within a day, let's say there's 3, not that far apart, for different various things that just upset and frustrate, right, at left field. And it's like, so yeah, that would be a win, handling those in a better way for her.
Nice.
Jimbo.
Yeah, man. I second you on the third grade girls and emotions. They're running high. It's like super, super hard.
Sensitive.
It's super hard.
Sensitive.
It's as a boy, as a man, as a dad, like you get it. I had sisters, I get it, but I don't really get it. And so we're doing the best we can, and they're
Yeah.
going to be fine. It's nothing I've had a ton of experience with, but yeah, man, dad, spring break. I just think getting through it, being on the other side of it, I think it's fantastic, man. You know, we get back to the grind this week, Monday. Get back to work. Get back to school. Get back in your schedule. Um, you know, surviving a spring break.
It is cool because these are the exact photos and stuff. We'll look, these are just core memories from the past that like were those windows of time, right? Where you have only so many spring breaks, where there's freedom, true freedom to really go figure out where you want to go, what you want to do, or do nothing. But yeah, next.
Are you now the MC? I feel like you're trying to take my role.
If I got to be, no, I'm just kidding.
I think you're just excited to talk about Froth Fest. So go ahead,
No,
knock off.
somebody else's turn. I'm done talking about.
It's your thing.
Fro-
You got
Fro-
it.
What are you talking about? It's not my thing. The Long Elementary Dad's Club. Actually, it's a modern dad experience. Let's get this straight. Well,
Yep.
It's a lot of local businesses putting in to make this happen, which is another reason for people to come out and check it out. But yeah, no, everything's lining up very, very well. We'll just hopefully the weather will cooperate and it'll be on point. But main thing right now we're adding is a lot of little kids features. So for the kids tournament, we're going to do. It looks like we're going to do a best shot. You know what I mean? So one hole for the kids. So the adults will be 18 holes, 2 nines, and the kids will just be one shot, like a best shot, if you will. And then we'll have lemonade for sale from some of the kids. We'll have simple bag games, like what is the golf game where you throw it's like yard golf, frisbee, a bunch of yard games. Is what I should basically clarify. Say.
Yes.
And then looks like we're going to have the frisbee golf portion up on the upper pavilion, and then on the lower pavilion we'll have Blue Jay Brewing serving up cold beers, which is going to be amazing. Local dad and entrepreneur, and we'll have Long Dad's Club. One of the dads is going to smoke pork butts and make shredded pulled pork. It's going to be on point. And then we'll have Steve Ewing playing tunes, so we can post up on the side hill there. Kids playing in the field. Hopefully, is how this all goes down.
New playground's going to be ready, I think.
Brand new banging playground's going to be awesome. So we'll do the frisbee golf in the start of the day from probably kick things off around noon, run that till about 2. All frisbee golf should be wrapped up by then. Looks like music around 2 to 5, and then we'll probably be hanging in the park all evening.
Man, that sounds fun. Yeah,
As long
that's
as
action
families can
packed.
hang. Yeah, it is going to be really great. So if anybody has any ideas and they want to message in or whatever to Modern Dad Experience in any way, shape, or form about what you want to see at the Frisbee Golf Froth Fest tournament, let us know. Any ideas for kids games, let us know. And if anybody wants to sponsor it, let us know.
Absolutely.
So we'll in post we'll put up the flyer with the details and information. It's fun. Last year was fun. This year's going to be even more fun.
Yeah, we're very excited to see this thing grow for the community. And maybe we'll bring in a whole band next year and so forth. We're talking about doing food trucks, but the fact we can keep this all in-house this year is pretty amazing, especially with the food and so forth. But yeah, come one, come all.
Sweet. You got any other topics before we cheers out?
I don't think so.
Go ahead.
I talked to a couple of the OGs. I know we talked about trying to have some of the early Dad's Club guys on. They were busy this week, but Joe and Ryan will probably be available soon. Can't wait to start having guests, and that's coming up here in the future. And one more shout out to Lindenwood Women's Lacrosse. Check them out if you get a chance, man. Super fun team, great coach. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Cheers out.
Cheers. Boom.
Cheers, fellas. Well done.
All right. Great job.